Welcome back to Midnight Digital Decay. There is a legend whispered in small circles of the occult world. A story of a woman who exists in a place just beyond our reach. She has no name, but those who claim to have encountered her call her the Crying Glass Woman. It is said she appears only in abandoned places, dilapidated churches, forgotten asylums, or the ruins of ancient buildings where time itself has begun to decay. Those who have seen her describe a figure so still and so silent that at first she might be mistaken for a statue. Her form is unnaturally tall, draped in black, with the thin and fragile appearance of someone carved from glass. But most disturbing of all are her eyes, empty sockets filled with nothing but darkness, from which crystalline tears continually fall, shattering upon the ground into shards of reflective glass. The first recorded sighting of the Glass Woman dates back to 1965 in an old cathedral in northern Italy. A group of art historians was cataloging the church's relics when one of them wandered off, drawn by the sound of faint sobbing. Following the sound, he found himself in the basement, where a crumbling confessional booth stood half buried in dust. Inside sat the Glass Woman, her head tilted down as if in prayer, her hands clasped over her chest, though the sobbing seemed to come from everywhere at once. He stared, paralyzed, as her head slowly lifted, revealing her featureless face. Her body appeared fragile, composed entirely of some translucent material that glinted in the dim light, and her tears fell continuously, shattering into sharp pieces at her feet. As he gazed into the empty pits of her eyes, he was overcome by a deep sense of sorrow. Yet it was not his own sorrow he felt. It was as if the woman was pulling his grief from deep within, unraveling it like an ancient wound, showing him pain he had long forgotten. He fled the church, but not before one of her glass tears struck him on the hand, leaving a thin, bloodless cut that never healed. Following this, a series of strange occurrences were reported at sites where the Glass Woman was supposedly seen. At each location, mirrors and glass surfaces began to fracture, cracking without any apparent cause. But it wasn't just the physical world that seemed to be affected. People who claimed to have come close to her described vivid hallucinations, visions of another realm, where the sky was filled with jagged shards of glass, and shadowy figures moved through the cracks in reality. One of the more disturbing accounts comes from a man named Peter Fallon, a paranormal investigator who spent years chasing after cryptids and urban legends. Fallon had heard about the Glass Woman while researching an abandoned Victorian mansion in England. The mansion had been the subject of local folklore for decades, but none of the stories seemed to match, save for one peculiar detail. Nearly everyone who entered the house described the sensation of being watched by something from behind a reflective surface. Determined to find out the truth, Fallon set up cameras and spent the night inside the mansion. According to his notes, the first few hours passed without incident. Then, sometime around 3 a.m., he began to hear soft weeping. As the sound grew louder, the mirrors in the house began to fog, even though the temperature remained constant. He approached one of the largest mirrors, only to find it was cracked, and in its reflection, a figure appeared, tall, black-clad, her skin shimmering like glass, her face an emotionless void. When he turned to face her, the room was empty, but the weeping continued. He felt the air around him grow cold, and before he could move, something sharp grazed his arm. Looking down, He saw a thin line of blood forming, a cut just like the one from the church. The glass woman had marked him. He left the mansion that night but was never the same. His journal entries became erratic, filled with paranoid ramblings about shattered glass, eyes watching him from reflective surfaces, and a world beyond this one, where the glass woman rules over an army of shadows. Many believe the glass woman is a vengeful spirit. Others think she is a guardian of some ancient forgotten realm, trying to bridge the gap between our world and hers. But those who know the deeper, more arcane histories of the occult suggest something even more terrifying, that the glass woman is not a ghost, nor is she alive in any sense we can comprehend. She is a reflection of something much older, an entity that exists in the spaces between realities, feeding off the sorrow and despair of those it encounters. And for those unfortunate enough to catch a glimpse of her, the world will never feel whole again. Every reflective surface will become a gateway. Every shard of broken glass, a reminder that she is watching, waiting from the other side. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more of this content. It lets me know people enjoy it and motivates me to continue to create it for you all. If you haven't already, check out my link tree in the description for more esoterica.